So what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So are you afraid of DVD disc rot? Yeah, I know a lot of people are, because some of you have even talked to me in DMs on social media with me. So do you know what that is? Do you know what it affected? Well, I'm going to go, this is more of a, hey, the more you know. Yeah, the more you know type of video. We're going to do that. I'm going to let you know my feelings about disc rot and give you a couple of news notes about it. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into the video. Let's go.
All right, man, where were we?
I'm sorry, are you saying meow?
So what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the JeffMan316 Pop Culture Reporter channel. I'm your host, as always, JeffMan316. Yeah, that's me on the sign, JeffMan316 Live. Come over on the weekends. We watch movies, usually Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll watch a movie. Usually it's one that's available free, like on Tubi. We have a lot of fun. Sometimes we don't even talk about the movie we're watching. There's so much other stuff going on. We just watched WrestleMania. That was fun. Also hit me up on social media, JeffMan316 on Instagram. I talk to a lot of you guys there, and I'm going to start posting more photos of stuff that I pick up there. But I digress. This is a video talking about DVD disc rot. Do you guys even know what that means? I'll give you a brief history. I've dealt with that subject since I've been collecting. So mostly I remember starting to hear about that from back in the Laserdisc days. And basically what it is those discs that you get, whether it be a DVD, CDs, Laserdisc, anything, are usually multi-layered discs that are sandwiched together, glued together. And a lot of times you can see that on the disc in the middle. When you look at the ring, you can see where the glue might be. Sometimes it's I've worried in the past about rot is what they call it. Now, rot is not a title that I like to be used when describing this problem, because it's not really rot. I've seen some extreme cases where it almost looks like mold or where it gets splotchy on there, but that's the extreme cases. Like I said, I've heard people over the years, I've been collecting DVDs since the late 90s. And I remember hearing, in the 5 or 6 years into collecting, where people were saying their discs weren't playing properly and it was because of rot. What it usually is, it's a manufacturing defect. I've never had an instance where I've personally heard where somebody has had a disc actually rot in their home that wasn't because of a manufacturing issue. I guess if you had your home extremely hot or cold, you could make the issue worse, because typically from what I'm reading, it involves the glue or the process that's used to push and mash the layers together. So what ended up happening in the latest fiasco, if you don't know, is Warner Brothers movies are being affected. There's a laundry list. I'm going to put a link to a forum that I found that's got a pretty extensive list where you can see it's a lot of sets of movies that are affected, and it's a lot of individual releases, but they're all DVDs. From what I hear, it's from a time period back between 2006 and 2008. A lot of the discs that were pressed then, what happened was, that was around the time, if you weren't a physical media collector, where there was a big uproar of competing formats to get your HD picture quality going on for physical media. You had, on one hand, Microsoft introducing HD DVD, which a lot of times had the HD on one side and DVD on the other. And then you had the competing format, which was Blu-ray, which ended up squashing HD DVD. I personally think the main reason that it squashed it, I know because it was the reason that it squashed it for me, was I had to buy a separate player for my HD DVD discs that hooked up to my Xbox to play those discs. And the Sony PlayStation played Blu-rays right out of the box back then. It was a pain in the ass to get that thing out every time. I didn't have a lot of room. I know I was stretched for space back then, so it mattered having to have a separate player. And then when I got my PlayStation, I started buying more games on the PlayStation, so my usage of the Xbox went down. So it got to the point where I was like, I'm not even using the damn thing. I'm gonna just start getting Blu-rays. And then the Blu-rays got cheaper because more people bought them, and then that basically blew HD DVD out of the water. So I digress. What we're talking about here is there was an issue back then where Warner, when they stopped pressing HD DVD discs for a short period of time, they used the same replicators, is what I'm reading, and they made DVDs with it. And when they put the discs together, the layers, it's an issue with the replication process, and the layers of the disc are not sealed or something, are not glued together properly, and they're causing issues. Issues from not playing at all, just locking machines up, to partially playing, which I'll give you an example of happened to me, and then or episodes of TV shows and you get into the disc and then either it doesn't work on the front end or the back end. And I've got an example of that as well. So let's dig into it. Like I said, look in the link in the description down below. There's going to be a website. There's probably multiple ones out there. It's the one I saw first, so I'm not going to dig too deep into this, and I'll tell you why. One of the reasons is a lot of the ones I'm going to show you or talk about, I have either upgraded or I checked and there wasn't a problem. And when I say upgrade, I've bought Blu-rays. So here, the first one is an example of that. This is on the list, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, the unrated version. You know, for a while, I didn't think the unrated version of this was available from anywhere else other than this DVD. Come to find out, I maybe need to do a video about this. There is a release of this that's not available in the US that you can buy from Canada that's on Blu-ray, and I've upgraded it. But I will tell you, I played this, started it, watched it a few minutes, skipped ahead, watched some in the middle, skipped all through all the chapters, and the whole movie played every time I stopped it, and it ended fine. I know a lot of the ones I'm going to talk about, the movies either don't start properly or they stop in the middle. The two worst case scenarios, I'm going to say baddest case, worst case scenarios I'm going to give you that I experienced, that's what happened. So the next one I checked was Tales from the Crypt. So they said on the list that season 1 didn't play properly. Now, I think what it is this was before the problem. I think it's the thin case sets or whatever that other type of set they released of season 1 that came after that. The reason I say that is I'm pretty sure from what I read, it was 2006 through 2008. And there, if you look in the middle on the ring, on the disc, and I'll show you what I mean, there's a number that you might have to get a magnifying glass. That if you look really closely to any DVD on this back ring where the data's at, there's numbers there, and you're gonna be able to see little ones, but you can't read it. See right there? There's a list of numbers that they say that if it's one of those, it's probably not going to play. So I'll put that up on the screen, and if you check your disc and you see that, you might want to put them in your player and see if they work. Now, I didn't see that number on this Tales from the Crypt, so I'm assuming this came out before, so I was worried. This is one of the sets, and it said season 1 on that list that I had. It didn't say anything about any of the other seasons. So why it would just be season 1? And like I said, maybe it was when they did a reproduction of some of the seasons back then. I don't remember how fast the 7 seasons of Tales from the Crypt came out. I can't get the fucking disc back in the case if you want to know what I'm doing.
All you gotta do is say earmuffs to them. Earmuffs. They can say fuck, shit, bitch, whatever you want.
But either way, that one was fine for me. It's probably the other release, so don't bash me for that. Now, here's the first instance of one that did not work for me. I love the Super Friends. I've got every one of the releases. This is the Legendary Superpower Show, the complete series. And I will go ahead and show you. I hate these damn cases that they put them in. You can barely get the fucking things out.
Tight.
So I usually open up the other side and push it through. So if you look at it, there's 2 discs in here. So I played the first disc and I watched the beginning of every episode and it worked. It's the second disc there's a problem. So I will tell you this, when I check that little code in the middle of that one, I don't see any speckles on the disc. I don't see any layer problems. I can't see anything physically wrong with it. The numbers did match. So I wanted to try. That disc has these episodes here. When I got down to the Royal Ruse, that played fine. As soon as the episode ended and try to go to the next one, when you did play all, it would not play these 2 episodes here. Then it tried to go to the special features menu, and then it wouldn't play the special features. So it's got to be something in the middle, but all the rest of the episodes on the disc work. I'm going to do this as a test. I'm going to buy the newest version of this. It's still out on Amazon. It's probably, and I'm going to try to get a replacement for this. Now, some people have sent a big batch of purchases to Warner, and I don't think anybody that I know has heard what the result of that's going to be. But I'm going to try it just to see as a test for you guys. If you buy one that's made now, is it been stored away or did they replicate more? I want to see what kind of case it comes in. So I'm going to probably order that because it's like $15. But yeah, that sucks. So one of the shows from the Super Friends, man, I've got those superpower figures in there. You can probably barely see them with the light. I've got every superpower figure at least loose or in the original package. I've got some in the original package.
You gotta play with it.
Don't take it out! It loses its value if you take it out of its packaging.
I'm just saying, let it out. Give it some air, man. Play with it.
Would you guys like to see my superpowers collection one day? I've even bought some of those re-releases that McFarlane is doing now in Walmart. But either way, so that's very disappointing. So the next three are on the list, and I didn't have any trouble with them. So this was one that was really important to me. Tex Avery's Droopy, the complete theatrical collection. There's 2 discs. There's 24 shorts. I played a lot of the discs, both of them, because I haven't watched it in a while. I love Droopy. And I skipped through every episode, went to the beginning and end of every one. They played. I went to the menu, started every individual episode. They all played. So the codes in the middle matched on the list, but for some reason that one played for me. I forget which one. Don't quote me on this. You got the Looney Tunes Golden Collection. People are having issues with Volume 4 and Volume 5. I can't remember right off. You'll see it on that list. One of these, I think 5, they said none of the discs work. Now, I put all of my discs in there, all 4 of them, and they worked fine. There was one particular disc, I think, in this one they said didn't play. I can't remember. Like I said, don't quote me on that. Look at the list. Whichever one it was, they both played for me, and I watched and went through every single short, Warner Brothers shorts on here. Now, this one isn't that killer to me because since then, Warner has been upgrading to Blu-rays all their collections, and I've bought every collection that's come out so far. So I'm hoping I'm to the point to where a majority of these Warner Brothers Looney Tune cartoons are all going to be on Blu-ray for me. So speaking of Blu-ray upgrades, that's why I'm not so concerned about this last one. Now, this is one of the major releases that I used to love horror-wise. It is the Twisted Terror Collection, and I'll tell you why. There's some movies in here that I used to love back in the 80s. This one, not so much. Michael Caine, The Hand. I was telling one of you guys, I don't own that one on Blu-ray, but I think I got the rest of these on Blu-ray. Dr. Giggles for sure. I just did the upgrade of that from Shout. This was one of John Carpenter's first movies. It's got Lauren Hutton, Adrienne Barbeau, and Charles Cypers. Someone's watching me. I've upgraded that to Blu-ray because I remember wanting all the John Carpenter movies on Blu-ray. So that's 2. I think I've got this one. This is one I have to check on from Beyond the Grave. The next one I know I have on Blu-ray because I bought it last year when it was on sale. Deadly Friend, Wes Craven's. And then I remember buying this movie here when they had like one of those 3 for 2 sales on Amazon, I think last year, a year before, Eyes of a Stranger. So there's really only one movie in here that I was worried about, The Hand. But I will tell you, everybody was saying they were having trouble with someone's watching me. So I went ahead and tested that first. It plays fine. You get into the middle, and I started skimming ahead, and I don't know the exact chapter, but I started going chapter by chapter, and the movie froze and got to the point where it would not play. It locked up my 4K player to the point to where I had to let it sit in there for 5 minutes and let the damn thing power itself off. When it powered on, it opened the tray and I took it out. So I was kind of worried, was it going to fuck my player up? But so I tried it again, and the same thing happens in The Hand. It doesn't get as far. I think that got about halfway through. This is the only movie right now that I don't own on anything but DVD, but luckily it's still available, and I'm going to go ahead and upgrade to Blu-ray until I find out what's going on with this. I looked through the list, the rest of it. I'd say 90% of that I own over the years, I've upgraded to Blu-ray. I still have a ton of DVDs in my basement that are either packed away or they're on shelves that I probably won't watch that often. I've been slowly combining them with Blu-rays or selling them on at yard sales and stuff. I'm going to have to go through some of those eventually, but I'm not sweating it now. So I looked through the whole list. There's a lot of classic, movies from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, Warner Brothers that, don't shoot me. I just don't like a lot of those movies unless it's a popular one or a movie that I've seen and just like. It's just a lot of those movies back then. I don't get into a lot of those old 50s black and white movies. So there's a lot that I do like, but there's a lot that I don't. So I think any physical media collector who's been collecting for the last decade or so, that's mostly done Blu-ray and now 4Ks, you might as well not even watch this video. If you've been collecting DVDs since the beginning and you got a lot of Warner Brothers movies from 2006 to 8, probably a lot of the snapper ones that I've been finding in the, found one in Big Lots, but I think I would have been after that. Goodwill, thrift stores. I've been buying them. I'm going to start checking them all, but if they don't work, it's a buck usually. It's not killer, but I am going to start checking them as soon as I bring them home now. Like I said, I looked through the list. It's not sweating me much. I don't have a lot of those old gangster movies. It's not a lot. The ones that I checked are the ones that I care about. And I found 2 so far that are bad. Put in the comments down below, how many have you found that are bad, and does this worry you? If you're a new collector, probably not. If you're an old collector, it probably does. Comment down below. Let me know what you tested, what you haven't, what you found that was bad, what you didn't. I want to talk to you guys about this. I want to see, are you one that's going to panic? Or are you going to be somebody that's kind of like me, like ho-hum, I'll just replace the ones that are messed up with Blu-rays? Or if I paid so little for them and they're so old, I'm not sweating it. So like I said, check the list below and then let me know how you feel about it. After you do all that normal stuff, like, comment, subscribe, share, and then also don't forget, if you are a subscriber, hit the notification bell. We're close to 3,000 subscribers. When I hit it, I'm going to do a giveaway. Probably do a pretty decent movie, maybe a new 4K or something. So I love you guys, and until next time when I can do The More You Know or a review or something, yeah, check out my Ghostbusters review. Or anything else pop culture related. This has been JeffMan316. I'm your pop culture reporter. I'm signing out saying you guys be safe out there.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.